Think about the end of every major conflict you have ever had in your life. Think about the painful breakups, the bitter falling outs with toxic friends, or the exhausting final arguments with manipulators. What is the one thing that both sides are desperately, relentlessly fighting for? It is not the truth. It is not justice. It is not even an apology. It is closure. From the time we are children, we are psychologically programmed by society, by movies, and by books to crave neat and tidy endings. We want the final chapter of the story to make perfect sense. We want the dramatic, cinematic final conversation where everything is laid out on the table, where the villain realizes their mistakes, and where the hero walks away vindicated. We want to know exactly why things happened, so we can put the painful memory into a neat little mental box, tie a ribbon around it, and move on with our lives. But in the dark, complex realm of high-level human dynamics, closure is not a human right. Closure is a weapon, and the person who controls the closure controls the entire reality of the relationship. Welcome to Quiet Power. Today we are going to explore the most devastating, psychologically agonizing move you can ever inflict upon a toxic person. We are transcending normal communication. We are going to teach you the absolute, terrifying power of denying them closure. To master this weapon, we must first perform a deep psychological autopsy on the mind of a manipulator. Toxic people, narcissists, and psychological abusers do not operate on empathy. They operate on control. They view relationships not as partnerships, but as a chessboard. When a relationship or a dynamic is finally coming to an end, they can feel their control slipping through their fingers. This loss of power terrifies them on a primal level. So, what do? They will intentionally engineer a final, explosive confrontation. They will send a massive, emotionally charged paragraph of text messages blaming you for the entire collapse of the relationship. They will hurl false accusations. They will bring up your deepest insecurities. They will try to completely rewrite history so that they are the innocent victim and you are the cold-hearted villain. Why do they go through all this effort? Because they want to hook you into one last desperate fight. They know that if you read those lies, your ego will ignite. If you argue back, if you defend your character, if you try to explain logically why you are leaving, you are giving them exactly what they want. You are giving them your emotional currency. You are proving to them that they still have the power to make you angry, to make you cry, and to make you care. By engaging in the final argument, you are handing them the pen and letting them write the final sentence of the story. Now, I want you to imagine a completely different scenario. They send the massive text. They throw the ultimate insult. They lay the perfect, glowing trap for the final argument. And you? You do absolutely, fundamentally nothing. You do not reply. You do not angrily block them and announce that you are blocking them. You do not write a long paragraph explaining why you are walking away. You simply stop existing in their reality. You evaporate into the mist, leaving the conversation suspended in midair forever. This is the psychological equivalent of dropping a nuclear bomb, turning your back, and walking away without even bothering to look at the explosion. When you deny a toxic person closure, you trigger a devastating, irreparable glitch in their psychological software. To understand why this is so painful, we must look at neurobiology. Human brains absolutely hate open loops. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as the Zeigarnik effect. The Zeigarnik effect states that people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks significantly better than completed ones. Think about when you are watching a suspenseful movie and the screen suddenly cuts to black right before the final climax. You cannot stop thinking about it. It bothers you for days. Your brain obsessively tries to fill in the missing pieces because it craves resolution. When you walk away without a single word of explanation, you turn your entire existence into the ultimate open loop. When you execute this, you will force the manipulator through 3 distinct stages of psychological collapse. Stage 1: confusion and denial. In the first few days, the manipulator will not believe it. They are so used to you reacting, so used to you defending yourself, that they will assume you are just taking your time. They will constantly check their phone. They will stare at the read receipt. They will convince themselves that you are drafting a massive emotional reply. Stage 2: panic and the extinction burst. As the days turn into a week, and the week turns into absolute echoing silence, confusion rapidly devolves into panic. They realize that you have not just left the room, you have demolished the entire building. Because you did not give them a final reason, their brain goes into severe overdrive. The Zeigarnik effect takes hold. They are forced to stay awake at night, replaying the entire history of the relationship in their head, desperately searching for clues. What did I do wrong? Was it that thing I said last month? Do they hate me? Did they ever even care about me at all? During this stage, they may attempt a hoovering maneuver. They might suddenly send a nice message pretending nothing happened. Or they might launch a smear campaign, trying to provoke you into breaking your silence. You must remain as still as a statue. Do not flinch. Stage 3: the internal collapse. Without your words to anchor their reality, they begin to drown in their own insecurities. You have trapped them in a psychological prison of their own making, and you have thrown the key into the deepest part of the ocean. Toxic people use closure to absolve themselves of guilt. If they can provoke you into yelling at them during the final conversation, they can walk away saying, "Look how crazy and unstable you are. I am the victim here. I am glad we are over." But when you give them absolutely nothing but the heavy, suffocating weight of your silence, they have no one to blame but themselves. You force them to sit alone in a quiet, dark room with their own toxic behavior. And I promise you, the deafening sound of your absence will scream at them louder than your voice ever could. Now I must address the hardest, most brutal part of this tactic. To successfully deny them closure, you must also be willing to deny it to yourself. This is where the true battle lies. The battle is not with them. The battle is with your own ego. When you walk away in silence, your ego will suffer withdrawals. Your ego will beg you to send just one last text message. Your ego will want the final word. Your ego will want to tell them exactly how much they hurt you, how deeply they betrayed you, and how wrong they were. You will feel a burning, almost physical desire to explain your side of the story, just so they finally understand your pain. You must ruthlessly kill this desire. Understand this deeply and never forget it. Explaining your pain to a manipulator is exactly like bleeding in front of a starving shark. They do not feel empathy for your wounds. They lack the emotional capacity to care about your suffering. When you bleed in front of them, they only smell blood. It only tells them that their teeth are sharp and that their manipulation was successful. The closure you are seeking from them is an illusion. A toxic person will never give you the genuine apology you deserve. They will never fully, honestly acknowledge the damage they have done to your mental health. If you wait for a manipulator to give you closure, you will be waiting for the rest of your natural life, forever chained to their control, forever a prisoner of their narrative. True closure is not a gift you receive from someone else. True closure is an empire you build for yourself. True closure is waking up one morning and realizing with absolute clarity that their opinion of you no longer dictates your reality. Closure is the deep, stoic, peaceful acceptance that some books are simply meant to be closed halfway through. You do not need to read the final chapter to know that the book was toxic. Closure is looking at the absolute disrespect they showed you, the lies they told, and the boundaries they crossed, and realizing that their disrespect was all the closure you ever needed. When you master the dark art of leaving without explanation, you reclaim 100% of your psychological power. You become an untouchable ghost. You become the anomaly they cannot solve. You become the one who got away. Not because you ran in fear, but because you simply chose to stop participating in their low-frequency, miserable games. The next time a toxic cycle is coming to an end, do not write the paragraph. Do not make the emotional phone call. Do not demand a fake apology. Simply pack up your energy, your self-respect, your focus, and your peace of mind, and walk out the door. Leave the door wide open behind you. Let them stare out into the empty hallway. Let them wonder where you went. Let them realize with a sudden crushing sense of existential dread that they will never, ever hear your voice again. Silence is the ultimate weapon. Complete, unapologetic absence is the ultimate statement. If you are ready to stop begging for closure from broken people and start taking your absolute power back, like this video and subscribe. The evolution into your most sovereign, untouchable, and formless self continues here. Walk away. Stay silent. Stay powerful.